Eminem and Diddy have always had this not friends but not loud enemies vibe going on. But according to the streets, that might just be because Diddy has always been scared of him, even behind bars. While Diddy's shadowy past creeps closer, there's one name he never dared cross: Eminem. A rap legend, M's roots run deep in streets that don't forgive. From threats to Simone and Muscle and ready to face down Suge Knight, Eminem didn't talk tough, he was tough. And Diddy knew it. And this story is about to blow your mind. The street backing beyond Slim Shady. To understand why Diddy might have feared Eminem even while behind bars, you first have to see past the carefully crafted public image. The beach blonde trailer park persona Slim Shady projected was just the surface. Behind that mask was a man connected to a world few knew about. A world of loyalty, street respect, and powerful, if often hidden, alliances. Let's take a step back to the early 2000s. Eminem was rapidly becoming one of the biggest names in music. Despite his global fame, Grammys, and sold-out tours, there was a force keeping him grounded. His unwavering loyalty to a close-knit circle that included not just 50 Cent and Dr. Dre, but also, according to some insiders, ties to certain street crews, most notably a Samoan gang based in Los Angeles. Yes, these moment connections have been wildly talked about within certain circles, though they've never been officially confirmed. What's clear is that these alliances gave Eminem ascendant kind of muscle, a backing that few anticipated from a rapper who often presented himself as an outsider. So why would Diddy be scared of Eminem even while incarcerated? The answer lies not just in Eminem's lyrical skill or fame, but in his street reputation. Unlike many rappers who boast about their street ties, Eminem is known for keeping his connections quiet. But those familiar with the scene say M isn't just a white rapper from Detroit. He's deeply someone involved with crews who commanded real respect and fear. Take the infamous story involving the Crips. It's said that at one point a faction of the Crips tried to force Eminem to check in to acknowledge their control in his neighborhood. Eminem reportedly stood his ground, refusing to back down or submit. Whether every detail of this story is fully accurate is up for debate, but people close to the street say that moment was a defining one. It showed the world Eminem was not a man to be messed with. Where does Diddy come in? Over the years, his name has been linked to numerous rumors and reports involving violent behaviors, drive-bys on Suge Knight, armed home invasions, even explosions near rival homes. None of these claims are fully verified in court, but the rumors contribute to a reputation that is feared on and off the stage. According to sources close to the industry, while Diddy was behind bars, news spread about Eminem's fearlessness and the backing he commanded. The fear wasn't about Eminem's music. It was about the power and allies he represented and the lengths he was willing to go to protect himself and his crew. Eminem's close alliance with 50 Cent himself, a figure known for a ruthless street approach, only added to the tension. Together, their combined backing sent a clear message. Eminem wasn't alone, and any conflict with him would have serious consequences. Fans may remember Eminem's cryptic dices and veiled warnings about Diddy and his lyrics in interviews. Many believe these weren't just artistic expressions, but subtle threats. 50 Cent's own public remarks directed at Diddy further stoked speculation that the fear wasn't just music industry politics, but something far deeper. There are conspiracy theories suggesting attempts to silence Eminem and 50 Cent during their peak conflicts, though nothing is proven. Still, all the evidence points to a tense showdown beneath the surface where music, street power, and personal rivalries collided in ways few outsiders understood. And at the center of it all, Eminem's rumored deep connection to the Samoan crews of Los Angeles, a group whose loyalty and muscle played a significant, if secretive, role in shaping the power dynamics that kept Eminem untouchable. Inside Eminem's ties to LA Samoan gangs, many fans think Eminem was just regular bodyguards, people hired to keep him safe at shows or events, but some reports from people close to the streets tell a different story. Eminem had support from Samoan gangs in Los Angeles, groups known for being tough and loyal. These weren't just bodyguards in suits. They were street fighters, often called a Samoan army. They've been around since the 1990s, known in South Central LA for their strength and loyalty. Why would Eminem, a rapper from Detroit, have connections to these LA gangs? When Eminem became famous in the late 90s and early 2000s, the world around him wasn't just about music. It was about street power, too. Rivalries in hip-hop could get dangerous, so having strong protection was important. The Samoan gangs respected Eminem, not just because of his music, but because of how he acted. He didn't brag or cause drama. He stayed low-key but was ready to stand his ground when needed. These connections likely started around 2001 to 2003 when Eminem was rising fast alongside other artists like 50 Cent and Dr. Dre, who also had street ties. The Samoan gangs weren't just hired for protection. They were a strong, quiet force, making sure Eminem stayed safe in risky situations. This gave Eminem a kind of power most people didn't expect. It showed that if anyone tried to cause trouble, they'd have to deal with more than just a rapper. They'd be facing a group with real muscle and respect on the streets. This helped in tough moments, like when parts of the Crips tried to pressure Eminem to check in with them. Eminem refused, and having these alliances helped keep things from getting worse. Why keep this quiet? Eminem's public image was very different. He was known as the white rapper from Detroit, and the music world didn't want to mix that with gang ties. Plus, talking about it could cause more problems. So these connections stayed mostly secret, known only to those who really understood the streets. Later, we'll look more closely at some of these stories and explain how this Samoan backing helped Eminem stay strong, and why it might explain why even someone like Diddy was cautious about crossing him, even in jail. The day the Crips tried to make Eminem check in. Back in the early 2000s, when Eminem's career was booming, he traveled a lot, including frequent trips to Los Angeles. It was during one of these visits that something intense reportedly happened. An encounter with a group tied to the Crips, one of LA's most well-known and powerful street gangs. When these members saw Eminem in their area, they tried to make him check in. On the streets, checking in means more than just saying hello. It's a way of showing respect and loyalty to the local gang that controls the neighborhood. It's like admitting, I recognize your power here. For outsiders or visitors, refusing to check in can be seen as a challenge, and in many cases, it can lead to violence. But Eminem wasn't about to do that. Despite being in a new city and facing a potentially dangerous situation, he stood his ground and refused to check in with the Crips. This wasn't just a simple no. It was a statement that he wasn't going to bow down or give up his independence, even in a place where others expected him to. So how did he get away with it? Why wasn't there any backlash or fight? The answer lies in Eminem's backing. Word had spread among the streets and gangs that Eminem wasn't just a famous rapper, he had serious protection behind him. This included strong ties to powerful groups like the Samoan Crews in LA, who had a reputation for being loyal and ready to defend him. Because of this, the Crips knew that causing trouble with Eminem could lead to real consequences. It wasn't worth the risk. So instead of forcing the issue, they backed off. Eminem confronting Suge Knight. If you still think Eminem was just a rapper behind a microphone, think again. There's one story that shows just how serious he was. His face-off with Suge Knight. Back in the early 2000s, Suge Knight was one of the most feared names in hip-hop and the streets. As the co-founder of Death Row Records, he had a reputation for being ruthless and violent. Most people in the music world were too scared to even challenge him. But Eminem, he wasn't afraid. The story goes back to the filming of 50 Cent's iconic music video for In the Club around 2003. Suge Knight reportedly showed up on set trying to intimidate everyone. The reason? Suge had a history of clashing with 50 Cent and those around him, and he wanted to make his presence felt, but Eminem didn't back down. According to interviews with people who were there, like Tony Yo and The Game, Eminem came prepared. Tony Yo said M pulled up with like 20 goons, all Samoan bro, and he walked up like he was ready. No fear, this wasn't just a small group of friends. These were serious allies, mostly from the Samoan Crews in Los Angeles, known for their loyalty and toughness. The Game also confirmed the story, saying that Eminem was ready to fight if needed. Suge Knight might have tried to intimidate the set, but Eminem stood his ground and didn't back away. This moment was about more than just bravado or showing off. It was about respect and protecting his team. Eminem wasn't going to let anyone bully his friends or his crew. Not even Suge Knight, who at the time was one of the most powerful and feared figures in the industry. That day, Eminem showed the world that he wasn't just a rapper. He was a man with serious backing, ready to defend what mattered to him, no matter the cost. The diss is a public challenge. Eminem has never been afraid to throw punches with his words. Over the years, he's built a reputation for calling out rivals in his songs and interviews. But when it came to Diddy, it wasn't just about making music or stirring up drama. It was a public challenge with deeper meaning. This all came to a head during Eminem's famous feud with Machine Gun Kelly around 2018. In his track Kill Shot, Eminem took some of the hardest lyrical shots of his career. But buried in the song was a line that shook the hip-hop world. Eminem rapped, The day you put out a hit is the day Diddy admits he put the hit out that got Pac killed. This wasn't just a diss. It was a bold accusation. Tupac Shakur's murder has been surrounded by rumors and conspiracy theories for decades, and suggesting that Diddy had anything to do with it was explosive. What's even more shocking is how Diddy reacted. Instead of firing back with lyrics, statements, or interviews, Diddy stayed completely silent. No songs, no press releases, just nothing. Why would a man known for being loud and confident suddenly go quiet? Some people think that he knew better than to start a fight he couldn't win. By this time, Eminem wasn't just a rapper with sharp words. He was someone with serious street respect, real protection, and no fear of powerful figures like Suge Knight or gang affiliations. This silence spoke volumes. It sent a clear message that Eminem was not someone to mess with. His words carried weight beyond music. They hinted at real power and influence behind the scenes. So when Eminem threw down those lines, it wasn't just for shock value. It was a warning and a reminder. 50 Cent backing Eminem? One key reason Eminem became untouchable was his close connection to 50 Cent. Around the mid-200s, when Eminem was already a huge star, 50 Cent was rising fast as his protege. But their relationship was more than just music. It was loyalty built on trust and shared battles. At the time, 50 Cent had his own very public beef with Diddy. Over the years, 50 wasn't shy about calling Diddy out on social media, in interviews, and even in court. The tension between them was no secret, and it got serious. 50 Cent even survived multiple real attempts on his life, shootings and attacks that showed how dangerous this feud could get. So when 50 Cent stood by Eminem's side, it sent a powerful message. Eminem wasn't just fighting alone. 50 was ready to back him up with street smarts and muscle. This duo was a force Diddy didn't want to face. Fans and insiders often say that Diddy avoided a direct confrontation with Eminem because he knew any attack on M would bring 50 Cent and all their loyal crews into the mix. It wasn't just about music or words. It was about real power and consequences on the streets. Eminem and the courtroom crossfire. Now things get even more complicated. Recently, Diddy's name keeps popping up in court cases tied to violent incidents and criminal accusations. While Eminem hasn't been officially mentioned in these court documents, 50 Cent has appeared in some of them, showing the legal side of these ongoing conflicts. Some fans believe Eminem might know more than he lets on. His cryptic lyrics and subtle hints and songs could be his way of speaking truths without putting himself directly in danger. Think about it. If the rumors about Diddy's involvement in serious criminal activity are true, Eminem would have every reason to stay cautious. But even with that caution, he never showed fear. That's the kind of respect and power he had. Why Diddy was scared even in jail. Today, with Diddy facing increasing pressure from legal troubles and public scrutiny, many believe the fear he feels isn't just about getting caught. It's about what could happen next, the possible fallout with people like Eminem. Eminem has never been the type to back down or play it safe. He's dropped public warnings and insults that went far beyond the music. He was prepared for any response, ready to stand his ground no matter the cost. Tony Yo, a longtime friend and collaborator of both Eminem and 50 Cent, once said something that perfectly sums this up. Eminem didn't need security because he had respect. That respect wasn't just from fans or industry people. It was from real street power and loyalty. It made Eminem one of the most untouchable figures in hip-hop, even to someone as powerful as Diddy. In the world of hip-hop, where image and reputation can make or break careers, Eminem stood apart in a way few understood. He didn't need flashy jewelry, loud talk, or public shows of power. He kept his cards close to his chest. But behind the scenes, Eminem earned something far more valuable. Real respect and protection from people who knew the streets well. This respect didn't come overnight. It was built over years, starting in Detroit, growing through his connection with powerful figures like Dr. Dre and 50 Cent, and expanding all the way to the Samoan crews in Los Angeles who had his back. These were not just fans or hired security. They were warriors who understood loyalty and strength. Eminem's reputation wasn't just about music. It was about how he handled himself when the stakes were highest. When groups like the Crips tried to intimidate him, he didn't back down. When Suge Knight showed up trying to flex power, Eminem stood firm back by his crew. And through it all, he never needed to boast. His actions spoke louder than words. And then there's Diddy, a man known for his own power, influence, and rumored darker dealings. But even with all that, Diddy saw something in Eminem that maybe many others missed. Behind the slim, shady persona was a man who could be a storm, a force that could bring trouble, not just with music, but with real street power. That kind of force is rare and dangerous. Even when Denny was behind bars, far from the spotlight and locked away in silence, that fear of Eminem didn't disappear. It lingered in whispers and rumors among those who knew the full story. Because fear like that doesn't just fade when the lights go out, it echoes through prison walls, through hidden conversations, and through the underground networks that connect the world of music and street loyalty. Eminem isn't just a rapper. He was a symbol of loyalty, toughness, and silent power, and that made him untouchable even to the most powerful figures in the